Hello and welcome to Channel Sport on Sunday. I'm Ken Ochonogo. It's been such a week. Yes, and sports in Nigeria takes you up there and brings you down. You ask yourself, when is administration, are not going to be an issue? When is talent? When is infrastructure? When is, development going to be our focus, which is what we expect. But here are those who are supposed to solve the problems are now or have always been the problems. We've got a house of football in turmoil from 2014 till date. And for that, we know how much we are paying. We're not going to the World Cup. Before then, we went to 6 of the last 7 World Cups. But then after that, what happened? Where is the youth development? It is not there. The female league is just, thank God for Edo State and what they are doing. Where would we have been? It is a case of going around. You look at the Rugby Federation, you have issues. Look at athletics. We're almost burnt when we're trying to put them together here to say, why do you say, you are going autonomous? What are you expected to do? If funding is your problem, I want to go this way. Why? Why do we have this? Athletics Federation, Rugby Federation, Nigerian football. And then for the past 3 Afro-basket sessions, for the first competitive championships, the Tigers of Nigeria won that title in 2017, in 2019, and in 2021. They called it the three-peat. They repeated themselves. Basketball, Nigeria is the only country in Africa that sent a basketball team to the Olympics in both the male and the female. Now, that does not remove the fact that even before 2017, from the same 2013, the house of basketball has been in turmoil. It has been a case of either me or nothing. It is either my way or no way. It is a case when you look at, some of us read, we read the Holy Book where 2 women came with, saying that, we had sons, and then one of them said, her own son is dead, this son is mine. That one said, no, this son is mine, it's not yours. And King Solomon, in all his wisdom, he said, okay, let us divide the child, since both of you cannot agree on who owns the child. And we are not there to witness the bets. And guess what? You guessed right. The one who says it is me or nobody says, yes, let's divide the child. But the owner says, no. I'm passionate. I'm compassionate. It is my child. I will not see my child being drawn, being killed, just because it is better for you to have him and let him be alive. But those who are fighting for the soul of basketball, do you love basketball? That was it. Let me walk out if my living will be the sacrifice to bring peace to the house of basketball. Has it gone to that particular point in time where this is what you ought to do? My way or no way? And I believe if we follow on that path, we'll be killing basketball, the way we are killing football, the way we are killing athletics, the way we are killing everything we want to kill in sport. We met them there. We met them where they were thriving. Now we are trying to put it down. Look at the man in the mirror and ask yourself, what have I done right? What should I do at this point in time? Because the federal government, through the Ministry of Sport, who advised them, who advised the president, who said, we are quitting international basketball for 2 years. We are quitting. You quit. You have qualified for the World Cup, but you quit. The best option is to quit. We shall look and see how we can get it done. We will talk to them. This time, we're not talking to the administrators. There is no reason why we should do that. What we are trying to do here today to see if we can get 1 or 2 of those who are pinched, who are touched. They said when 2 elephants trod on grass, it is the grass that suffers. The elephants with their weight and everything just, matches everything on. When the gladiators in this circuit are doing what they are doing, it is the players who are receiving it. When those players said, okay, fine, this is what we want. How do we do it? Then let's see if the fathers will say, yes, my son, my daughter, I've listened to you. And for your sake, I am going to do this. It is Channel Sport on Sunday. And I tell you, Today, we have a bumper package. That is the up. We shall take you down in sports, because in football, that is where it is happening. This week, we'll talk football and basketball, because next week, we are definitely going to devote it to basketball, to football, because the league will be ending. But let's come home, because Rivers United, yesterday they lost. They went to Heartland, and Heartland says, no way. Even if we want to go down, we must get those points. There is still time to survive. We still have over 10 matches to go. So why should we give up now? And they beat Rivers United by 2-0. But I tell you, Rivers United are still 7 points clear. And let me tell you this, here, take this to the bank, that you are hearing it from Channel Sport on Sunday, that Ken Ochonogo told you that if Rivers United win the league, if they win the league, the players have been promised 40% increase in their salaries. That is the minimum. Some will get more than that. So this is not the time to give up. If you win it for them, this is what you are going to get. You are going to get 40% increase. And that is it. In England, somebody said, others are crying. That is the thing. There are some people who are saying, look, I don't have a shoe. Others, I don't have the leg. Others are saying, let me qualify for Champions League. So I want to win all of them. Oliver Twist. And that is Jurgen Klopp. Because Liverpool are saying, we want to win the quadruple. We want to win. We have won the Carabao Cup. Yesterday, again, the same opponent in the same fashion. On penalties, they sent Chelsea away and they added the FA Cup. They are pursuing the league. They are already in the final of the Champions League. However, there are 20 teams in the league, but they want to take everything. They want to conquer Europe. They want to conquer England. 2 in the bag, 2 to go. In tennis, somebody has just joined the 1,000 club. Yes, the Joker. Novak Djokovic. He has joined Jimmy Connors. He has joined Ivan Lendl, the terrible. He has joined Roger Federer. He has joined Rafa Nadal, the man with 21 big ones. And I tell you, right now, he has won. Yesterday, he won his 1,000th professional match. It's not easy. You just have to be there. Only 5 men in history have done that. And he is number 5. I'm being told that, yes, we can go to Jos. That the players to Abuja. Yes, he is from Jos. Yes. Don't mind me when I say we're going to Jos. Because I want to talk to Stanley Gumut. Stanley Gumut is from Jos, but he is resident in Abuja. So we are going to meet him in Abuja. He is the players representing the board of the NBBF. And then we want to know, because like we said, today we are not talking to the administrators. We want to talk to the players. And who else that we can reach out than the man who represents the players in all that is happening. Let us meet Stanley. Stanley, how are you?
I'm fine. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Stanley. Thank God I can see you smiling. I can see smile on your face, but I don't know if your mind is also smiling. In all this, Stanley, I don't know, were you guys taken aback when the news came in some 48 hours or so ago that the federal government will be pulling out of international basketball for the next 2 years?
I will not say we're taken aback. Rather, would I say I'm happy about the decision. I would rather say that I wish that we can still continue with international championships and still have this resolution. But as a father, which we have been clamoring for and praying that he comes in to solve this problem, he has decided to say that, okay, you people, your fight, enough is enough. Sit back, relax, and let me take the lead right now. We don't have any choice right now than to, because we've been calling on the government to come in and solve the problem. So now that they have come in, it doesn't matter the approach they are taking. We have to just, try to support them or watch and see what direction they are going. It is not a good thing for anyone who loves basketball and loves the game to see that we're pulling out of the World Cup. But at the same time, if a thing comes like this, let's see the template. Let's see how they're able to manage and resolve the crisis, which is our main target. And we're hopeful that in the nearest future, we're going to be beneficiaries to the whole thing. I mean, if you even look at it critically, in the last 5 years, we haven't had anything to do in the international scene. So it is not like we are being hit in whatever way. Those who are crying, foul play, and ranting are those who are probably eyeing monies they are going to make from the World Cup. Unfortunately, it is just going to be affecting 12 players that are going to the World Cup. But if you look at it domestically, if they come back to say, okay, we're going to fix our leagues, we have more than 5,000 players in the Nigerian scene that will be benefiting from the domestic league. Yeah. At the end of the day, the only people that get to go out to play to represent Nigeria is no more than 12 players, even if it's every year going to play in the Continental. So yesterday, I watched a lot of people coming out to react and all that stuff. But then when Nigeria was banned from BAL, Basketball African League, that it's the domestic players that are supposed to go and enjoy. Nobody came out to say anything about it. I expected that people would have come out to say, okay, we don't like what has happened. We're calling on FIBA to take a decision to, reinstate us back to play BAL. But rather, the opposition was crying foul, like, hey, it's a good thing that's happened, it's a good thing that's happened. When FIBA removed us, it was a good thing that happened. Now the government say, okay, let's withdraw and come back on the round table and see how things are going to happen. People are crying. I think the players will only be angry or mad if nothing is being done on domestic scene. It's painful that those who took time to qualify Nigeria to the World Cup may not be able to. As a matter of fact, I'm also waiting for FIBA to say, okay, the International Management Committee that is going to be set up should handle the teams to the World Cup. That can happen. That can happen. And if they say that, I think it's a good one for Nigeria. Let FIBA forget about who is bored, who is not bored, and let the IMC. I hope that the IMC will be comprising of those who understand the game and those who are going to take the game to the next level.
Okay, let me take just 1 or 2 minutes to look at what some of the things that one of the aides of the minister wrote and said probably this is the position why the government took their action. They said 5 years of endless leadership crisis, court suspend National Basketball League for 3 years plus because of leadership tussle. Sponsors are okay. Let us see where we know what the government is saying on this. I think we can let us listen and hear their reasons for this action at the time.
Following on ending crisis that plagued and nearly crippled development basketball in Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the withdrawal of Nigeria from all international basketball competitions for a period of 2 years. Immediate effect. The withdrawal of Nigeria is in order to concentrate efforts by government towards reforming the sport from the grassroots as well as domestic leagues, which have become mobile. This will also allow for the setting up of an Int'l management committee to oversee the management and development of the domestic basketball leagues in Nigeria and to further address other related issues around the development and advancement of the game in Nigeria. Accordingly, the government intends to utilize this period of break to address all potential issues among stakeholders. The terms of reference and membership of Int'l management committee will be announced in due course. In issuing the order, the federal government reiterates its interest and commitment to the development of the sport of basketball in Nigeria, as well as huge talents of our youth domestically in an atmosphere of frantic and strife.
All right, you heard some of those things he's saying, Stanley. But for just to make it a little bit clearer, let me just one of those things like they are saying from the part of government is that 7 meetings and a national reconciliation committee was set up by federal government. Yet the 2 factions produced 2 presidents. They said the ministry and the federal government misrepresented many times to FIBA by elements within the factions. You understand? As an up the time clock, our ministry made direct and indirect efforts, to many stakeholders to no avail. And FIBA rejected government invitations to visit Nigeria and step into this. I mean, so okay, these are some of the reasons our government is saying. But let me just take this from Larry Glover. Larry Glover said something like that it is not the responsibility that this is an interference that this is an interference, that it is not the responsibility of the government, that is the president of federation and not the sport minister or head of state, that can withdraw us from international competitions. I don't know if you agree with that. Let me come to you, Stanley. What is your take on this? Do you agree that it is irreconcilable, that there is, if nothing above the minister could have achieved peace between both factions? Like the ministry, advised the president, to withdraw us. If the presidency had intervened, do you think we would have achieved a little bit of success than this?
Anyway, before I go straight to your question now, I want to say something. I don't think any individual has been able to take Nigeria to the international scene with his own money. It has always been the government and the government and the government. That means the government has a final say to whatever happens in sports. Yes, there should not be interference, but this is not an ordinary case. This is a clear case of crisis. And this is a lingering crisis for 5 years. So now, if they allowed us as federal government to solve these issues for the last 5 years, and we're unable to, should they keep quiet and allow this crisis to continue to destroy this game? Or should they come in and try to find a lasting solution, since they are the custodian of the game of basketball in the country? Of sports generally. Yeah, so for Dr. Glover to say that, I think he's being biased. I know where he stands. I don't expect him to come out and take side. As a man of honor that he is, he should clearly say the way it is, call a spade a spade.
Okay. Are you there, Stanley?
I'm right here. I'm with you.
Okay. Let me ask you this, like we said, because of course we are trying to hear their voices and also take it from you here. Have you as players representative, since this thing happened, have you reached out to the players at home and the players in diaspora to get to know what they are saying, since you are their voice on the board?
Yes. The players in diaspora are not particularly happy with the decision, because they felt they worked hard, they put in their sweat, to get this thing done. The players on the domestic scene are also saying that, hey, we want the national teams to play, but again, we want our domestic league to grow, because it has always been the case of just international championship. Now, all those who are complaining, if you look at it, they're not even talking about the domestic issue. They're talking about international. What is so important about just the international? Why are we not talking about the domestic side of the story that the government have said they're going to build? They have said they will try to build the domestic side of the story, and that's why the players are saying, okay, we're not going to react immediately. We'll patiently wait and see what template the government is going to use to develop the domestic scene, which for me is the most important of all. Because if you look at 5,000 people without jobs, I'm saying without jobs, that have been taken off jobs. That's this, including the referees, the technical officials, the coaches, and the players on the domestic scene that are here in the country, been taken away without jobs in the last 5 years. And nothing has happened for them in the last 5 years. Not until January here that an individual decided that, okay, we are going to have a championship, mark the ball, and then he's paying people 7,000 naira, 10,000 naira to participate in this championship. And it is not supposed to be the duty of an individual. So the government is seeing these things and they are saying, we want to, in any case, come in and let's develop the home scene, so that these 5,000 to 6,000 people who are depending on basketball will have a life first. Now, when they have a life, we can decide, okay, there's stability now. Let's invite the world governing body, come and we'll be part of it. Nigeria will always have talents. Nigeria will always be, relevant in this championship. Again, like I said, if the IMC is put in place and the appeal, people can write to the IMC and say, okay, IMC, bring the national teams. I think that should solve it. I don't think FIBA has even said anything concerning it. We're the ones that said it. FIBA can write back and say, okay, let the Internal Management Committee take these people to the World Championships, while we, in our own domestic scene, the government looks into the crisis and then fix it.
Okay, you are looking at it as, like I said, from a two-year hiatus, 2 years out of the international scene. But I believe FIBA will also frown at this, trying to take action on, because they will see the IMC as a contraption. They are not going to look at it as the normal, because to them, they have recognized one of the factions as we have a federation in place. So probably after our 2 years, just like when we decided not to go to South Africa for football in 1996, Of course, FIFA also told us you can stay at home for another 2 or 3, another 2. We're lucky to come back, in 2000. We would have gone the banners for 4 years. So, what do you think is going to happen within this period? But take that. Okay, I can see that, of course, that maybe from you, what you are saying now. Let us make it clear, Stanley. Are you giving us your opinion of, like you said, the opinion of just there is a variance between our domestic players who have been suffering without a league for over 3-4 years, and then those in the diaspora who are saying, okay, we have been representing because we are playing in whatever it is. Have you synergized those views? Because look at some of the implications of this. Let me just take this one. The Tigers, they will not go, of course, they've withdrawn. They will not go to the FIBA World Cup, Women's World Cup final, which they've already qualified. The Tigers will be expelled from the African qualifiers. That the Tigers for the 2023 FIBA Men's World Cup. Jointly hosted by Japan, Indonesia. The Tigers and the Tigers will be barred from qualifying tournaments for 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. These are a lot of them. All Nigerian junior teams will be barred, from organized competitions. Nigerian clubs will be barred from a future basketball competition, and all Nigerians in FIBA committees will be expelled. Now, these are a lot of things. Don't you think, Stanley? I want to say I will get your response, because we want to go on a very short break. But you have seen all these things, so when we come back, you can just articulate your views and let us know. And let us know where I am speaking as Stanley, or I'm representing the voice of my players. Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we shall rejoin you.
Der Spieler, der die meisten Tore in der Bundesliga-Saison erzielt hat, als Torschützenkönig bekommt in diesem Moment vor unserem Gästeblock vom Kicker-Chefreporter Carlo Wild die Kicker-Torjägerkanone überreicht. Glückwunsch und Respekt.
Robert Lewandowski. Lewandowski, we celebrate the best just like that. Whether they are from Nigeria or anywhere in the world, that is what we do here. We're at the apex, at the apogee, at the zenith, of whatever is happening in the world. And that man has just won the top goal scorer in the Bundesliga, back to back, 5 in a row, 5 times in a row. This is the 7th time he has won it. He won one when he was with Dortmund. 6 now that he's with Bayern Munich. And the man says he's 33. And he says, I am leaving Bayern. I know I have my contract until next year, but it's now time for me to leave. There are stories that probably the man is also heading to the Camp Nou in Barcelona. We don't know. But then Bayern, I don't think Bayern will want to let go. You have a contract. They might say, you are going to sit up this contract. You have been good for us. You've won the Champions League. You won the league 10. In fact, the Bundesliga title has been with Bayern for the 10th year in a row. 10th year, for 10 years, they have been winning it. So that is what we say. Okpe has just joined the house. Okpe, how are you?
Yeah, thanks, Ken, for having me after a most difficult week. That is really of hope in the sunshine from Lewandowski, and he just like you can compare him as the Hamilton of the Bundesliga.
Wow.
Hamilton wins the F1 title anywhere he goes.
Yes.
Lewandowski is a man Jose Mourinho will never forget. He destroyed his ambition of winning the Champions League.
When he was with Real Madrid.
And
I remember those 4 goals.
So after 10 years, but what you have to give it to Bayern Munich and their structure. One thing with them, they are also interested in post-Munich life of a player. So, because they want to ensure when you leave Bayern Munich, go to a better side. So, in most cases, there is this unwritten agreement and telepathic understanding with Real Madrid. So, they want most of their players to actually end up in Real Madrid.
Yeah, just like Schweinsteiger ended up with Manchester United. Yes.
Let's go. We have Stanley right there in Abuja, and we are keeping him there. Stanley, I don't know, because it is like I said, the solution-oriented. We are thinking about where we want to go. But I did pose some questions before we went on break. And what is your take on this, on those things that we said?
Okay, if I got you correctly before the short break,
yeah.
I want to start by saying that since 2017 we have not had any NBBF president. Since 2017, okay. The last time I checked, there were crises. There was an election in Kano. There was one in Abuja.
In Abuja, yeah, exactly.
There was a dispute. Yes, before the death of Patrick Baumann, there have been correspondences on how they were planning to resolve this crisis. So up until now, none of that process has been concluded. That's first. Secondly, FIBA is a voluntary organization. It's not a compulsory organization that Nigeria must be a part of it. So I don't know why people are making it look like it's FIBA that should decide to us what we want. Players in diaspora have said, we want this crisis resolved. Players in the home scene are saying, we want this crisis resolved. So, I mean, this whole thing, it's players are saying, because we are the ones that go to the floor and dive and do these things. And then the government has said, okay, the same government that years back said, okay, let's join FIBA, I said, okay, we want to pull out a little bit and fix it. So if it's the issue of, there has been no president since 2017. So it has just been an issue of, okay, somebody's been allowed to run the national teams, just for us not to have this problem that we're having now. And then after that, resolutions are about to come, people are not agreeing to it. So I don't think it should be a problem at all. Secondly, you said something about, international players and home scene players.
Yeah.
The international players that participate for Nigeria is just 12 players in one team. And these guys are plying their trades all across the countries. Their leagues are ongoing. Nothing is wrong with their leagues. It is a painful thing that, yes, they may not be able to go to the World Cup. But then look at the 5,000 plus people that are here on the home scene that are going to benefit from these domestic, programs that will be raised, in the next 2 years, as stated by the federal government, to make sure that people have employment. We're crying for employment, and this is an opportunity for us to look in-house and fix it. There is no way that a farmer is going to the farm and then he hears that his house is burning, he will still want to go to the farm. He will definitely run back home and try to quench the fire before he now thinks about, okay, what's going on in the farm? So I think in a nutshell, we have not even had any junior championship or all those lists they are writing. And one of those that went to the last junior championship, and I'm talking about since 2002, 2003, 2004. That was the last time Nigeria participated in any junior championship.
That's about 18 years ago.
We banned ourselves from that one.
I said that's about 18 years ago.
Yes. So if you look at the statistics, when was the last time Nigeria participated in a junior championship? There's been nothing like that. It's all about the juicy part, where the World Cup is, where the Olympics is, where something is going to come out in the pocket, where they're supposed to spend their own money to develop the talents, and nobody is thinking about that. So, and if the government is saying we want to go back and look into these things and fix it, I think I'm in for that.
Okay.
As much as it's regrettable that, yes, the senior team may not be able to go if FIBA does not say, okay, bring them in spite of what you said, then, I mean, for me, 12 players not denied the fact of playing World Championship, put together with the 5,000 plus people that are in the country that will benefit in the domestic programs that we're going to have, I'll go for the 5,000.
Okay, that is if automatically translates to having, because I know there are some cases in court. I don't think if those cases have been withdrawn from both sides, but I don't know what the outcome has been. But let me ask you this, because like I said, whatever the cross of this show we always do is solution oriented. How do we have peace so that we can move on? Have you players, have you been privy, to whatever discussions, what were the grounds of this group, the TJ group or the KIDA group that say, these are our grasses, this is why we cannot come together? Government said on 7 occasions they tried to put them together. Have they been carrying the players along? This is what these people are saying, and this is what people are saying, why they cannot compromise, why they cannot come together, why they cannot, walk away and let basketball thrive. Have you guys, I want to ask you this, are you guys aware of what these two groups stand for, why they cannot come together?
Yes, I'm fully informed. Players are fully informed as to what has been the genesis of the crisis. There was a constitution in 2017 that was used, that FIBA recognized. There's a letter, there's a correspondence that came with that and said, okay, goodbye, go ahead, do your elections. 2-3 weeks later, the then Minister of Sports, Solomon Dalun, came in and said, no, there is no constitution in any federation. As such, we are going to go back to status quo. We use the ministry guidelines and go and do elections. It's the same thing they are crying now and saying FIBA this, FIBA that. The reverse has been the case now. There has been no constitution. So it's a constitutional matter, constitutional problems and all that stuff. Now, there's another document that has been floated around saying that, you know, players in diaspora cannot contest in the federation elections. I mean, it's contradicting the federal government constitution. So for the federal government to say there's no constitution that is bigger than the federal government constitution. So if
exactly.
we have to come in and say, okay, we need to matter now, I think they're for me, for now, for what I've seen, I think they're taking the right step in the right direction. But like I said earlier, we want to see them put the round pegs in the round holes. That means bringing people who understand the game of basketball. Let all stakeholders be fully represented in this IMC so that we can now have to harness and see how we go forward.
Okay, that means you guys are already agreeing with governments. They say they want to form the IMC. If government forms the IMC and somebody goes to court again, you cannot stop them from, you know, if their fundamental rights have been trampled upon. Don't you think that there is still a window? Like I said, we have stopped at the ministerial level. The minister advised the president, and the president, gave us his approval to say, okay, let us pull out. Can the minister also not think, what you, the players, have you sought audience with the presidency? Have you sought audience, a written audience with FIBA to say, fine, it has not gone to that level. We can still rectify this of going to an IMC. Or if there's going to be IMC, there should be a collapse of the two sides willingly to say, okay, fine, we willingly withdraw so that we can get there. Because like this is, I don't think this government sledge, do you think this hammer, those guys affected will just sit down and say, we are not going to fight back. Like you said, some of them have the FIBA recognition, and others are saying we don't have it. Don't you think there is still a window for peace by bringing them together, taking it a notch higher than where it has been?
Well, you see, the issue is this. I will just refresh your mind a little bit. We have been skeptical about FIBA position. As a matter of fact, we see letters flying around that we still don't believe it was FIBA that wrote those letters. I'll take you back. In December, when the government said, okay, we don't want any issues, stop, everybody stop, we're going to handle the league, the final 8 and all that stuff. Nigeria emerged as champions. I mean, Royal Hoopers emerged as champions to represent Nigeria in the Basketball African League. FIBA came out to say, FIBA didn't say anything at that time. They gave us a timeline that, okay, we need to submit our representatives before this time, which we did. Fast forward early this year, when it was close to BAL Championship, they wrote a letter to say we're banning Royal Hoopers from playing the championship. And this is where our pain is. And this is the only domestic team that we have flying our trade abroad. They didn't say anything on that. They said, okay, the ministry cannot take Royal Hoopers to BAL. Fine and good. 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, the national team opportunity window came. And then it was the ministry that took the national teams, both in Serbia and both in Angola. And FIBA was mute. FIBA didn't say, ministry, why were you the ones that did this? They kept quiet. So, in a sense, we're looking at some of these letters that come from FIBA as letters that are written by friends to the members of those who want those letters out. We don't believe it's FIBA. Because if it's FIBA, FIBA cannot say, BAL, ministry cannot put their hand, but ministry can be allowed to take people to the national team. So that's why I say some of these letters that are coming out, we still don't believe that it's coming out from FIBA.
And then, finally, what do you think should be the road to peace in this? The road to peace. I don't think these guys have a heart of stone that can be touched. Of course, we said it has lingered on. You talk about 2017. It even started way back in 2013. You understand? From where they were waiting. We thought it was going to be an every 4-year cycle, as it was. But what do you think is the road to peace? Marry our players, whether they are home or abroad, have our domestic league, just like the NBA. They're talking about Eastern and Western Conference Finals. Everybody talking about it. When do you think? We used to have the Savannah and the what is the other conferences in Nigeria. You understand? You were the captain of Mark Mentos, and then you played this. What do you think should be the road to peace? That you players could okay, fine, call on to your fathers who are supposed to be doing this, and so that Nigeria can have peace in the house of basketball.
Yeah, if you notice, we the players have decided to take up this responsibility because we know that if without us playing on the floor, nothing is going to happen. And I think the first step that we took is to be, to come out and say, okay, this is what we want to do as a unit. Yeah. Secondly, everyone should drop his dagger. That's my advice. Drop your weapon, drop your dagger. Basketball is not yours and yours alone. Basketball is for all of us. You cannot play the game of basketball alone. It's a teamwork. You have to move the ball before you can get an open look, possibly get a shot or a dunk. So it is not an individual that will sit back and say, okay, give me the ball. I'm going to score on 5 people. You know, if you look at the championship that happened, what happened to Kevin Durant when he was playing, the Nets versus the Boston Celtics, they came out as a unit and they beat him because he was the only one that was standing. So it's the same case with Nigeria right now. So we pulling back out. I think if we do the right things in the right step, we should be able to come to a resolution to this matter. As far as I'm concerned, the majority of the stakeholders are having one voice. Okay. You know, just a few individuals who do not want to, let things happen the right way are the ones that are bringing all this confusion. They are even going to say, okay, they are going to go and see the CNC to tell him that this. What are you going to tell him? As who? Who are you going there as? Because we're saying there's no precedent, we're saying this crisis. We're talking about crisis situation. Let them do their work. Let them put a roundtable meeting. Let the Nigeria Olympic Committee come out and say, okay, we are in charge. Let them run a stakeholders meeting, ministry watching what is happening, and then everybody come to a roundtable, and then majority at that point, any decision that is taken is binding on you. This is a simple, clear case of, solution to the problem.
Okay. Stanley, I want to say a very big thank you. I hope it is resolved. I hope we can have our basketball in Nigeria thriving. I want to have the Islanders, the Mark Mentors, all of them coming together to play again. And because basketball, like we said, has been that sport that is up there. Even when football has been fondling, we've been ruling Africa, we've been going to the world. And we did beat America, did we not? We beat the Americans on basketball. But then I want the homegrown team. Somebody reminded me that when in 2014 or so, 2004, so that when we did so well and won the AfroBasket, that Umfomda was the only foreign-based player that was part of that team. The domestic league cannot die. So we want to thank you. I hope we shall still be reaching you why this crisis is on and see how it can be resolved. Thank you very much, Stanley.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Okay. From one crisis to the other.
Yeah, I don't think we should just delude ourselves and deceive ourselves. This case is very clear. It's like the case of the 2 ladies with King Solomon. Yeah, and the people advocating for the IMC are those that have nothing to do with running the basketball federation, because we had validly elected set of people, and from nowhere, if you are saying they are dictating to FIBA what to say, and FIBA accept, that becomes the position of FIBA. So by saying it's the friends of those friends here that are telling FIBA what to do, the FIBA guys are not, they are not anybody's.
Well, we're not getting the same thing when in football. Why you say no? Ken. In football, they were bringing Jankara letters and say it was signed by FIFA.
Yes.
So what is it? Why can't they also do it with FIBA?
But these ones, he also acknowledged that these letters were actually coming from FIBA, but we're seeing you're hearing the voices of Esau, but the hands of Jacob.
You see, he said something which I also want to draw attention to. Which, remember, we brought Popola here.
Yeah.
You understand? The TJ group then had a constitution.
Yes.
And the minister said, any association that has a constitution, go and use that constitution to do your election. You remember then?
Yes.
And then, after they have approved that election, Popola came in and said, look, this is their constitution. You now came in and said, no, they did not. But then, that group, like what he also said, that why he said there was no recognized president in 2017 was that group went to Kanu
for the election. We're debating the justification for when you say have your elections in Abuja and you went to Kanu to
do election a day before. I think it was on the 12th. Yes. It was something on the 13th. They went on the 12th. While the other group, nobody saw their election. It took place whether in the middle of the night or whether it was ghosts that took place. But they came out and said, okay, we have today. Nobody has shown the video
of that
particular election. So we know that was the crisis then. How long the minister then swayed in. So I believe that. If the ministry, just like what they have said, okay, we've been trying to bring them together. I know there have been efforts to bring them together, but I still believe that it was not yet time for the IMC. It was not yet time for whatever it is.
The IMC is a misnomer. It should not have.
What they would have done was take it in that wisdom that made to go to the presidency to seek approval to withdraw us is the wisdom that said, let this presidency summon these parties and tell them Nigeria is bigger than you, TJ. Nigeria is bigger than you, Kida. Leave so that there can be peace in the house. And then they collapse both sides. Wait, what is compromise? This guy can produce vice president. This guy can produce president.
Yes.
This, and then I don't think you can come together and then you
have
run it
that
run the show.
But you know, from day one, it was a matter of pure ego between the
Tijani and Kiga.
two warlords. But again, this will be resolved. I know it will be resolved, but it has to do with who has the better signal. Your signal to Aso Rock, to the network in Aso Rock, is who gets the.
That's what we are saying. That whatever we are not asking, like what.
But the IMC should not have.
Because government is giving
we have this penchant, even. For the federal government, people are started calling for interim government. We have this penchant for when just look for something to steady for people's.
All right, we have a caller on the line. Dayo, hello, Dayo.
Hello, it's Dapo.
Oh, Dapo. Sorry, Dapo. Sorry. Go on, Dapo.
Yeah. I don't know in this country, in our sports issues, the basketball. And the football. I don't know what's going on with people. The football doesn't have head. The basketball doesn't have head. Especially in our football, our league was not either maybe up and down. And then our house was not even in order. You can see what really happened to our football issue, even from the grassroots. I mean, you can see the lot of petition last week. I looked at some at a league level, at a second league or the one level against some referee. And then everybody is so corrupt, and then you cannot even really sure what's really happening. You are not even enjoying it. And then you are talking about the foreign football. But our own other wasn't even order. Okay, now you can see what happened in the week again. I think our basketball team. We have two out. One is like 3 years ago, and another one last year. And then they say, okay, look, basketball has banned for 2 years. How come? What is going on? What's going on? And I think that the minister, the trade minister now, he was just a journalist, he was a journalist like you. And then what is he doing? What has he come to be in order? At least we are not organized in this country. Sorry to say. We are not organized. Our house wasn't in order. I don't know what you can really do, you as a journalist and the other people. And if you can see that during the week, people was carrying people to be protecting. If you come to that level, we are not even enjoying anything. Okay now. Let me come here. I was so happy. They didn't do it again. If I paid all the oil companies, they won't continue in the work. And then if everything in Nigeria was there now, that means I don't have to pay anything. Everybody just kept quiet. And then corruption was stopping everything. And in this country, football is our joy, and basketball is our joy. Why can't we just make us happy for one day, please?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dakmo. But then let's since we are still domestic before we go foreign, we hear that Rivers United, the management have said win the league for us, and then you guys will have 40%, minimum of 40% increase in your salaries, in your allowances, and everything. That is sounding good, but it is coming from government anyway.
No, it's a government-run club, so you don't expect except. It's not a club run on the PPP model, public-private partnership scheme. So it's a only government funded and supported club. And you could see the desperation. Even you saw the pictures where people were trying to invoke so many things at the gate during one of their matches. So yes, it's something that is bound to happen because they're already having a very comfortable lead. Even when they lost 2-0, they still have a 7-point gap, and we have like 11 matches.
Okay, let us hear from them, and so you can understand what is happening in basketball and what is happening in football.
What we are saying is that we want a change in the way football is administered in this country. There is too much capital flights. Boys from the grassroots are being sold daily. The funds don't come back. The clubs are being funded by government. The government does not even care. Don't talk about accountability. We want these things to change. And driving this change, we believe that we, as part of the federation, because were part of the bodies that constitute the Nigerian Football Federation. The Nigerian Football Federation is constituted by 5 bodies: the players, the coaches, the referees, the clubs, and the state FA chairman. As we speak today, the statute is skewed to one side. They have 37 representatives in an assembly of 44. We say that can never work.
We can no longer entrust our destiny in the hands of people who do not even appreciate the pitfalls that we pass through as professional footballers. Because one, at the age of 35, that is when we are retired. That is when a banker, a lawyer starts his profession. So what happened to us between 35 and 70 and 100 years? Where else do you want me to go and work? Secondly, if you are a quality player after secondary school, football has the power to remove you from the mainstream of education. Thirdly, under 90 minutes, you can have an injury that can just terminate your career. These pitfalls are global, but elsewhere, because of the people who are inside, they have solution to these pitfalls, inbuilt mechanism. For example, what is working? Nothing is working. The Player Status Committee is dead as far as I'm concerned. As I speak with you, over $500 million is being owed Nigerian coaches and players.
While, of course, African Church play from right to the left of your screen. Okay, African Church is a team on blue. Don't get it twisted. And they'll be playing from left to right. While, of course, the opposing side will be playing, that is Burhanuddin, will be playing from the right to the left of your screen.
Definitely, Raymond, we're getting set for kickoff. And then we're waiting for the referee to signal kickoff, and that is it. It will be the boys from Ogun that will be kicking off this final, and that's it for you. There is the kickoff of this year's final of the Channel's International Kids Cup between Burhanuddin LGEA Primary School from Oja Igboro in Ilorin, Kwara State, against the boys from African Church Primary School from Abeokuta in Ogun State. The Kwara boys in with a first strike there that has gone wide, and it will be an early goal kick to the boys from Ogun State.
I just gathered that this Burhanuddin Primary School of Kwara State was founded in the 70s, and of course the day they qualified for the Channel's International Kids Cup, they lost their headmaster. His name is Abdul Salam Abdul Karim, and the players and officials have vowed to beat the opponents from Ogun State, all towards honoring their late headmaster.
Sad one there, but then again, that's something to fight for. All right, so plays on, and then you have the boys from Kwara in red and white, looking to send in an early shot. It's a chance for goalkeeper. He gathers nicely, and that's the goalkeeper from African Church Primary School, Wahab Tajuddin. Another swinger into the center circle. Referee spots an infringement, and it will be a free kick to the boys from African Church Primary School from Ogun State.
Referee Patience Wike looking smart and of course ready for this
Channel's International Kids Cup. There is nothing like it. And then, why are you calling now? Because the Kwara boys won the competition that year, and now Olafe is on the line. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, thank you. Fine. I'm on the road. I need to park and use my phone to watch your program. I'm telling you, way to Ogun State.
Okay.
So what I really understand is that if the basketball can go in another way, in the sense that they can get sponsoring, yes, because those people, they are qualified to play in the world now, and that is paining me. You know, it's paining me in the sense, how can you say 2 years? So I speak to them, if they can go in another way. So far, nobody will arrest them. That is it. If they can see sponsoring, that you can say, okay, because I know that it's happened in one competition like this, that Nigeria went there. Not Nigeria, it's another country. Is it not Russia or some? There's a country went to one athlete issue like this. They went with another name. So please.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Always trying to talk about the Russian Federation, when they say you cannot represent Russia, so that's it. That, you know, and in fact, they went under the umbrella of the IOC, yes. You know, as special as athletes there. But that is not the case. What we're trying to say, you know, peace can still be found. Those girls cannot go to Australia to go and represent, you know,
the Commonwealth Games.
You know, the Commonwealth Games are coming in. The World Cup that they've qualified in coming up in September, so that could not be done. So you saw that before that. You also saw Roger Federer. You saw Novak Djokovic winning his 1,000th career game. That it is not easy at all to win 1, 2, 3. The journey of 1,000 miles. They say they say journey of 1,000 miles. Then we think 1,000 is so far. So you should tell you how far that the guy has got to his 1,000th win, and you know, and there are only 5 men in history. Jimmy Connors, one of them, Ivan the Terrible Lendl, and then the trio that you know have been knocking themselves under 2020, Rafa Nadal, Roger Federer, and Novak Djokovic. Those are the only 5 men in history who has who has done that. So it tells you that it is not easy in the history of tennis. Only 5 men have won. If I have kicked, why didn't I kick to tennis? Wow, I know what I would have done. Anyway, so we move from there. We just Liverpool is going for the quadruple. Can they get it?
Yeah, you saw the African boys on blue and the winners red. Just a replica of what happened yesterday, and they were just too much for the Chelsea side. They were better. And again, the lottery of penalty favors Liverpool yesterday. So at a point when they hit the woodwork, it was as if the quadruple dream would crumble at that moment. But they weathered it and they got number 2. But the way it's looking, because with Man City are not... They are trying to even check out the box for goals, so in case that might come to harm them. So they might just be content with a lesser treble. And of course, the Man U guys will, of course, mock them with a lesser treble.
Okay, it's looking like that because Manchester City. Let's see if we can get the fixtures for today. I've been told that Tottenham are already a goal up against Burnley, and that is in the fight for the 4th place between Tottenham and Arsenal. Tottenham are a goal up now. They're leading Burnley. They're leading Burnley by 1 goal to not. That is where we can correct that, and we can update that, not correction. But you can take the fixtures.
Yeah. So Aston Villa takes on Crystal Palace. We're looking up to improve their standing. Leeds United, they need this match, and they need plenty of goals against Brighton. Watford, already relegated, takes on Leicester City.
Okay, and that is a Nigerian match.
Yeah.
Watford versus Leicester. I think we have 3 and 4.
So we are talking about 7
Nigerians are there.
So West Ham takes on Manchester City.
If Man City wins today, they will have won the league.
You can never say, because they will have superior goals advantage.
Yes.
But if they lose their last match by scandalous margin.
That is an example. That's why I said mine.
But they need to, because every match for them is a final.
Because they, I think they're about 6 or 7 goals ahead now. Yes. If they win this, if they win, they're about 8 or 9 goals ahead. And then that means, they need to concede that much.
And Liverpool needs to score like floodgate of goals in their last 2 matches.
They just need a draw in their last match to guarantee.
For the past like 4 or 5 matches, the Liverpool team, they've been struggling because they're obviously tired. We see how Wolverhampton against Norwich, Everton takes on Brentford, Newcastle takes on Arsenal, then Southampton takes on Liverpool.
That is the table that we're talking about here. Points.
36 matches, 89 points. By their standard, they've dropped. Because teams that were constantly hitting 95 points and 100 points. Liverpool also 86 points. Chelsea 70 points. Arsenal 66.
So
Tottenham currently on 68. On 68. Then Manchester United perpetually locked in the 6th position.
Let's go to Gombe. We'll get Lawan. Hello.
Lawuri.
Hello, Lawuri, how are you? Hello? Are you still there? I don't think so. We've lost the call. Please do try and call back. I like what from Gombe. I really want to know what's happening.
They lost yesterday to Niger Tornadoes, and they happens to be the only team with a neutral goals difference.
Who?
In Gombe United.
Gombe United.
So maybe he's toyed by that. They currently occupy the 8th position.
Oh, but he might be a basketball follower.
Possibly.
Yeah. So that is the thing. So in England, there's the battle. The battle for relegation is between Leeds and Burnley. And who against
Everton.
And Everton. 3 teams are fighting for the relegation. The battle for the 4th place is between Arsenal and Tottenham. That is a London fight. And then the battle for the trophy today might end. We were looking at it, but then you don't count away West Ham. But they have not been up it for some time now. Maybe they have been in the continent.
Yes,
also took a toll.
Distracted them and also taking a toll on their very
while
score.
Manchester City is a bit focused now. They are in their last match. They rested some of their players.
Yeah, and enough venom after the ouster from the continent. Every energy like the snake that has his venom in the tail. So
okay, all right, that is it. So let's come to Africa, because in our own Champions League it will be Wydad Casablanca taking on the African team of the century. The people that have been tutored by Pitsu, they are going there to play in the final. There is a little controversy there because CAF says that final will be played in Morocco when you already have a Moroccan team there. But people are saying CAF asked them to apply. It was a Senegal and Morocco that applied. And the Senegal now withdrew. But why didn't CAF, if CAF has put the caveat that to me, to say every country can apply except Egypt.
No,
okay, I think Laure is back. That's good. That's great. Hello, Laure.
Yes.
Okay, go on, Laure. Go on. Can you kill the volume? Kill the volume of your telly. Kill the volume of your telly. Kill it.
Are you hearing me now?
Yeah. Yes, very clear. Very clear.
Yes. Yes.
You are?
Yes, I've killed the volume of your telly. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, we are hearing you. Go on.
All right. I want to talk about basketball.
Yeah.
Because if the federal government will come over and say they are withdrawing basketball from international, they are not being fair to the basketball as a whole. Because all these problems that is happening in the NBBF, the federal government can take decision, outright decision, and they will solve that position once and for all. They can stand and disqualify the 2 candidates, and then maybe insult somebody that will lead for some time before everything is normal.
Exactly.
I don't know why sometimes people just drag this away. If Kira started a fight with Tijani based on regional things, Tijani has opted up and dropped the fight. Then Mark the ball now come in. The same fights are going on. If they are really doing the best thing, they told Tijani that why shouldn't they organize their election in Abuja? They went to Kano.
Yeah.
And that was the election. So if that thing affected Tijani, I see no reason why it cannot affect Kida. Why should Kida stay in Benin and do election while the election of all the association is taking place in Abuja?
In Abuja, okay.
So if there is an election that takes place in Abuja, the federal government should stand that election and communicate with FIBA, cancel all these things. What is happening is that in the KIDA group, there are some people who are claiming that they are FIBA representatives. And in the MAT group, there are some people who are claiming that they are FIBA representatives. They are the ones who are causing this confusion. So if the federal government have to stand, they have to stand it firm. So if all other associations will do their elections in Abuja, why basketball will be dividing their own into two, and then the federal government is looking into that. So if the federal government is serious, not to stop the players, because if you stop these players for 2 years, how many lives have you denied them, giving them food? All the club, the big club we have that they are playing league, we have players. Some of them, some clubs have 20, 30, 40 players in place. Now, if you stop, where are you going to take these players to? Where are you taking it to?
Thank you very much.
They should deal with those that are fighting, not things that will affect all the players and all the association as a whole.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lowry. Thank you, Lowry.
He's spot on, and that takes us to what Austin Popo was saying, that the sportman, by 35, your career is as good as over. So what happens after 35? So that's what he's saying. You have the player, they are the protagonists, but they are not even part of the crisis. Yet the hammer suffers on the...
That is the
Killer goes back to his job, Tijani goes back to his job, Mark goes back to his job, but the players, you are taking away their source of livelihood.
And then you are fighting as if it is your personal property.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. That's why the IMC is an aberration in the first instance.
That is the issue.
Lauri is very spot on.
So the thing is, you know, if we are looking for a solution, you don't have to say, because everybody is sitting around my camp. The one that favors you is the one you are going to take. But there is the one that favors all. I think is it the three people that said, you know, before you take it, just ask yourself the question: is it good for everybody? You understand? How does it affect
fair play
everybody?
Has to be seen.
How does it affect everybody? You don't just talk about yourself and say because you are benefiting, then okay, it has to be me. It is my way or no way. That is not it. We expect, like I was saying, it is not yet over. We have not communicated to FIBA that we are leaving. It will just announce that we are leaving there. I still believe that we are in the committee. If you're in the committee of basketball, the committee of football, you must play by their rules. But like I said, FIBA has themselves have not quite themselves in glory. They came in. I was at the national stadium because when they came in that 2017, when this crisis were on, and I did discuss with a lot of people. I said, look, both elections were flawed.
Yeah.
Both elections were flawed.
We analyze
you understand?
It,
we analyze it here. And then so let us not take part. We don't belong to any part. We belong to Nigeria. That is the only thing we belong to. We don't belong to this group or that group. We call it as we think it is. And that is what we are saying. And right now, people need to make sacrifices. Do not tear that kid. Don't kill that child. Don't divide the child. Let the child survive. It is not too much for the protagonist to walk away. You say, okay, fine, let us watch and whatever. It is not your basketball Nigeria. It's not your personal property. It belongs to Nigerians, to we, the people. And that is what we believe. Okay, we are living.
Yeah, for all the worrying factions in NFF, NBBF, and everywhere, they should just remember that peace can only vegetate in the oasis of fair play and justice and not in the aridity of violence.
And not in the aridity of violence, whether it is by words or by action. We are saying that the presidency have waded in, so they cannot be unaware of what is happening in the house of basketball. It is now time for them to be fully involved. Get both parties together, talk to them the Nigerian way, so that we can have the Nigerian peace and world peace. I'm Ken Ochonogo. Have a blessed Sunday.